What do you want to call
All right.
Chalice? Do you just want to call it Chalice, or do you want to call it something else? We
I
can
think we
cut this
call it-
part. You just
Yeah,
wanna call
I
it
think we
Chalice?
call it. Yeah, and it started recording, by the way.
It doesn't matter. Like the most fun part about this is I make no fucking cuts. I just like take the audio and I slide it in. I'm like, this is it. This is it. You said what you said.
Don't fuck up. No edits.
Yeah, it's not even like don't fuck up. Like it doesn't matter. It's just I'm just not gonna cut it because like well, I don't know. There's nothing I'm gonna say on here that like I'd be like, oh fuck, I hope somebody doesn't hear me say that. It's probably just not
This
gonna
is
happen.
like raw dog old school here.
Yeah, it's the Bill O'Reilly. Fuck it, we're doing it live. Like we're just doing it. You know what I mean? Sorry, it's just super hot down here for some reason, which is like it's finally getting cold and like not cold, but it's cold for Texas cold in Seattle, but it's like stuffy in this room. Okay. We went to Chalice. This happened.
Yes, we did.
Almost made it last year.
We went to redacted at undisclosed.
Yes. Which if somebody like got like literally gun to my head, if somebody was like, "Where were you?" I'd be like, "I knew that I was in California, but I could not be like, I could not pull out a map and be like, I was here." Because we were riding around. First off, car service, excellent.
Yes.
But like I had no fucking idea because we were just like winding up some fucking hills, and then people from California were like, "Oh, this is such and such." I'm like, dude, I with no fucking idea.
Dude,
I'd be like, "Oh, you were in Tyler, Texas."
Dude, it's okay. So we landed in San Francisco, and then it was like an hour ride or whatever it was, and it's going through some sort of park. There's it's obviously some sort of a nature park, lots of trees, that kind of thing. But man, getting up there, winding road, and it's just like sheer cliffs all the way down. There's no shoulder on this. It's like one of those movies that make fun of like Eastern Europe or something, where you're driving along the cliff or something. But it's just trees that feel like they're 1,000 feet tall and just sheer cliffs everywhere. And your driver's always thinking he's a race car driver. And yeah, you get to do that for about an hour.
I'm glad I was sitting up front for the ride up there. I sat in the back on the way back, and that was a terrible choice. We took this one curve, and the guy was sitting to my left was like, he's like, that's the point. He's like, right here. He's like, now I feel like he's like, if I'm like, all right, throw up just down your shirt, like throw up like down your shirt. Don't do it. Don't do it. Like it was, I understood. Like I was getting motion sick in the back, and I usually don't get super motion sick. And I was like, I understand what you're saying, but not right now. We were almost there too, so that was good. Okay.
Oh, with that drive, I do have to say one thing. There's a house, and there's like, I don't know if it's what's it called, a switchback. It's almost like there's a switchback. So it's kind of like the house is surrounded on three sides by this road. So this house is kind of like, it's under road height. It's like a block or two underneath, right? And then the road is going around it and then up. And the scary thing is when you're going down, again, there's no guardrails, there's no anything. If you fuck up on that turn, you land in their house.
Yeah, it's probably still like a $2 million house. Easy.
Oh,
easy. Yeah, easy money.
But I thought that was terrifying. The kind of anxiety I would have about any moment a flying car or motorcycle crashing through the house.
It's probably somebody's like second Airbnb property. Probably nobody there. Yeah. So I thought that part was excellent. Like getting picked up, very nice. Met you at Alice's because you got in slightly before me, right?
Yep. So Alice's, to explain what that, so it's like a burger bar restaurant. It's at the base, I guess, of this park, and there's tons of motorcyclists there because of the roads. So it's this kind of meeting place, edge of the national park or whatever.
Yep. Yes, the boomers were there. Like the dudes, like the dudes who are just slightly older than us were there, and they were riding their fucking like Harley that they thought was hard, but definitely what like they were wearing leathers, but they were not cuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it was like their tightest leather pants too. It was great.
It was yes, it was absolutely fantastic. I really appreciate that people are like living that dream with the motorcycles. I'm trying to look. I thought I took pictures of my food.
I saw a motorcycle in the parking lot that had a fur or faux fur like
Yeah,
like
on the
saddle
seat.
cover.
On the seat.
Yeah.
Looked like a raccoon.
For the longest time, I was like, what the fuck is that? Is that like some sort of straw mat? Yeah, it was fur.
It was definitely like it was like Wild Hogs, but like unironically. Like I expected Tim Allen and Adam Sandler to show up. But the food was delicious. I am trying to find this fucking Marion Berry. I had some type of like huckleberry pie, and I'm gonna if I can find the picture, I'm gonna put the picture.
Everybody was eating burgers,
in the show notes.
And then Eric shows up with the pie. That was pretty cool.
The pie was delicious. It was better than anything else I ate there, and I don't have a picture of it, so it's gone. Okay. Hung out there. It was just kind of like initially I was like, it's easy to point out the nerds because people were already playing Magic. People already had decks out, and I was like, guys, we're gonna have like 2.5, 3 days. Let's call it.
And we got there at like 11 a.m. or something, right?
Yeah, like and dudes have been jamming games like hard.
Yep.
I don't know how they did it. I don't know how people love Magic that much, but they do. It's very obvious. Met a bunch I'm gonna throw out names of the people I like the most. If you're not on this list, that means I don't like you at all. Okay. Got to see Nick and Urbano, which I hadn't seen them since Arizona. Got to see you. Hadn't seen you since Texas. Who else did I run into? I ran into a bunch of people from Seattle. I was like, oh, hey guys, good to see you down here. So we could have like a little local meetup, just in plane ride away. Trying to think of who else I ran into there. Steven from Beast, obviously. I've talked to him online, but I don't think we ever met in person. So I don't know. Ran into a bunch of people. It was super nice to like finally meet everybody that I either talked to online. Ran into our roommate Mitch, who I didn't think was prepared to room with us. Like he needed a room, but he wasn't like. I have a feeling like next year, if we're like, hey buddy, do you want a room with us? He's gonna be like, no. Like, oh, sorry, I got somebody else, and then like that's what's gonna happen.
I could just imagine that he was telling everyone else, "Hey, I finally found some roommates. Yeah, who are they? Oh, some cool dudes from Texas."
Yeah,
and cool you could just imagine everyone just shaking their head no and kind of slowly back.
Like, yeah, not cool at all. And on Saturday night, you were snoring like a motherfucker. I'm letting you know right now.
Oh, was I?
It woke me up, but I was like already gonna get up anyhow. But just so you know.
Dude, I only snore when I'm like beyond exhausted.
Dude, we're gonna just jump around a lot. I don't even care. I'm trying to find a picture of this food. We were like we were the youngest but oldest people there, right? So like we went to bed at midnight, maybe midnight 30, right? And so dude, people were fucking raging until like not raging like 20s raging, but like old people raging until like 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how they did it. Next year, I'm gonna bring more caffeine so I can stay up later because I feel like I missed like one integral. The one thing I missed that I wish I hadn't missed was Money Draft on, I believe, Saturday night.
Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell Money Draft. I would have bought into that one. I feel like we missed some stuff at like after the hours of 1 o'clock, but I couldn't make it. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, but also those people, well, at least a lot of those people, and they missed all the morning stuff. So I would rather miss the super late, the midnight to 4 a.m. and still get the, 7 to 10 or, be able to hit breakfast or whatever.
Yeah, I needed to eat breakfast. It was clutch. It was imperative that I got up to eat. There was the old man crew in the morning. I met Andy Baccaro for the first time.
He's so awesome.
Yeah, he's very cool. Him, Nick, and myself, I call the old man crew. The three of us were up at 7. Nice. I don't know if those other two even slept, but maybe they didn't. I don't know. I know I went to bed before both of them, but like get up, drink some of that shitty fucking coffee, which I had way too much of, and then like think about my day.
one night, it might have been the last night, I think we both grabbed a cup of shitty coffee at almost 11 p.m.
Yeah, that's a nice stay up till like 1, right? Stayed up late.
Yeah.
Stayed up late. And I just had to do the Irish goodbye both nights where I just like walked away. Didn't say anything, just walked away. It's the best way to do it.
The best is just yell in the room, bye guys, I'm going to bed. Wave your hand and like trip over a table, knock a bunch of shit over.
Yeah.
Like that's the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Spill a couple of beers.
Oh, dude, I didn't go. The one room I didn't go into was like the drink room, and I feel like I missed out by not going in there. But I mean, I had no reason to, right? Like all the diet sodas and stuff were outside.
That I had never smelled before. Yeah, it was quite interesting.
Yeah. We should probably describe for like the two people who listen to this who don't know understand about Chalice. So like you get driven out to this. Like it's like a YMCA camp for Jesus.
Yeah, it's a Christian camp. Yeah.
So like heavy Christian connotations, right? In the woods.
It's the first time I saw a crucifix on a flagpole.
Yeah, and just so for clarification, the crucifix was on the very top. You know, so the very top. So imagine like, it's hard to describe if you. It's like a Boy Scouts of America camp, but without like the shooting range.
So any summer camp that you saw kids going to on TV, but you didn't get to go to, it was that, minus the lake. It was exactly that. Whatever you can imagine of summer camp, that was it.
That was it. And then it was our group, which is just a bunch of fucking dudes. And then there was like some like teenagers there that were like solving world issues or some bullshit. Like they're like left one of their like idea posters up. And I was talking to Jonas from the Brothers of Fire. And he does something like super smart and crazy, but he was like basically like, yeah, this is how we brainstorm at work. And I was like, yeah, but the ideas were like, how do you solve like it was like world hunger, like poverty and
domestic abuse,
domestic violence,
LGBTQ rights and stuff. Yeah. I feel like this was a camp as in, don't be shitty people. Like
no, you know what I mean? No. They were like trying. No? They were like probably like spitballing like how to solve the world, but. I don't know. It was crazy. I can't like. There was a very like large dichotomy between our group and their group. And luckily we never met except for the food hall.
So I played a fun game at breakfast when we're all there. I asked some of the people in the old school group around us. Okay, we obviously are making some assumptions about this group, right? And we have a lot to go by. They have way less to go by. And what could they think that we are? So we're having everyone close to 40 and older. I guess you could say 35 to. I don't want to say the higher end, right? And then you're having a lot of shaved heads or whatever. You're having a lot of tattoos, and some people are wearing, cut off jeans with patches. It's hard to tell what it is. And my theory was that they think that we're a men's group, trying to get our lives together,
Sure, maybe.
So our Christian brotherhood with, camaraderie.
We're all in the 12-step program. We're just getting together for like a once a year. Yeah, 100%.
Of course, remember at night we heard somebody yelling out very loudly, "Suck it."
Yes.
And I shouted out to the devil, trying to. Yeah, it didn't work. So we're bad men.
Those employees, like, I hope those employees were compensated well because, like, they initially came in and were like, "Hey, like 11
Shout
o'clock."
Out to Stacy.
Yeah, thank you, Stacy, for being understanding. They're like 11 o'clock, quiet hours, and like 11 o'clock is like pretty much when people like turned it on. Like I would say it was quiet up until 11 o'clock. Like we like inverted. The rules there, but that was fine. All right, get in Friday. What did we do Friday? We learned about Urzani. Like we like got into that, played like 3 rounds of that stuff. That's all covered in all things, so we don't have to like talk about that. But what else did we do Friday?
Do you want to go chronological, or you want me to shout out some things?
Just shout out stuff. It's easier that way.
I did pool. Let's talk about the pool.
Holy fuck. Okay, there's a pool. All right.
Eric here was so psyched about it, like wouldn't shut up about the fucking pool. Like I think it was all Friday, right?
Well, I was excited because like it's like a legitimate pool with a diving board. You could swim laps in it. Like it's not an Olympic pool, but like you could easily have a race with somebody, right?
Yeah.
That me and Cam go down Saturday morning. And that water's fucking cold. But we like meet the lifeguard down there. And I don't think she understood that we were going to like get in right away.
The temperature outside was maybe 50, maybe 45.
So, sure. I mean, it was cold, dude. And I didn't, so first things first, I get down and I test the water. As I'm like leaning down to touch the water, my voice recorder thing falls in. Gone. Gone, dude. Just fucking broke. All right. So no recordings from actual Chalice. And there's the reason why. Like, get over that. Just like fucking like I was like, oh, I'll put in some rice or some shit. And it like actually, to be honest, I brought it back. It turns on, but it doesn't record anything. So like, I don't know. I threw it out. The water's cold, but I'm like, okay, it's probably not that like it's cold, but it's like bearable. And fucking, who was it? Somebody was like, oh, they have towels down there for you. And that was a fucking critical mistake because they did not have towels. But I was like, no, I'll be okay.
They did later.
They did later, but not when it was just me and Cam. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Swim trunks are on. And I go off the diving board, and that was the biggest mistake. Like I came up from that like poor dive, like that poor man's dive, and I had to immediately go to the ladder because I don't know if I would have survived swimming out to like the side of the pool. It was fucking cold. And I get and like Cam is just like staring at me like you're a fucking idiot. And I was. So I literally get up, I grab all my shit, and I have to fucking like hightail back to the room to jump in the shower because I was that cold. Like it was fucking cold, dude. However, Cam later said like he's like if you had just waited 30 minutes, the water was fine.
Because I showed up after you left, and I showed up with a coffee. This is the first time in my life I went to a swimming pool with a coffee in my hand.
Sure.
And Cam was there, and we were basically all huddled by the diving board where there's this strip of sunlight.
Yes.
Which made it much warmer. Cam dove in. He has this giant chain with like Thor's hammer kind of thing.
Yes.
And he came, smacked him right in the face. That was
he took it off after that. He got sunburned. That's how white Cam is. He got sunburned like 20 minutes he was in the sun.
Tell me you're from Oregon without telling me you're from Oregon. Yeah.
Yes. So that was my venture into the pool. I did not go back to the pool. Because Cam was like, "Oh, we'll go on Sunday."
It was totally
morning.
Fine. Like, So after you left, we're in there for a while. Like it was totally fine. Like it was okay. There was a lot of people that showed up, and I went the next day too, so I kind of confused the two. But my highlight definitely has to be Urbano. So Urbano shows up, and his outfit is like this, like bucket hat kind of thing, but it looks like it's like black velour or something.
He had coordinated outfits for every day.
Yes, he did. And they were like button-up shirt and like shorts, kind of like Angus Young at AC/DC, but with like a crazy pattern that covered both, like complete. Well, anyway, So he shows up. He's got this like, I don't know, velvet bucket hat, big gold chain that he had around. He had this kind of coordinated. I forget what top he was wearing, but he had USA swim trunks. He had like, he had a towel over, like he was like a WWF star coming to the ring, and on the inside was like the USA flag, and he had like white slippers on or something, and then his like huge like female looking like Gucci glasses. Yes. It was quite a sight. Yeah. So first time I've seen a giant gold chain in a swimming pool.
That's it. A couple other people got in the pool.
Marty was in there a bunch.
That's what I was trying to think of the dude's name.
Because Andy was in there too.
Was he? I feel like that was like one of my things is like I will do more pool next year. I will just be smarter about the pool and bring it down.
So what they're also talking about is that they're going to change the hours of it because to better be in line with actually having some sort of sunlight and not complete shade. Because you really have to pick what time of the day you're going, because where the sun was when we're doing this grove or area of these really tall pine trees were literally blotting the sun out. So if the sun would just be a little bit different, if it's because our pool times are like 9 a.m. to 10:30 or something. So they're going to change it so the pool actually gets some sun or next time.
It's like the pool hours were kind of fluid. Like if you didn't want to do what did we do Saturday, or what did I do? We played something. Well, Saturday was like the main event that started in the afternoon, right? But like that's whatever. In the morning.
What did? Oh, you know what? Shit.
It was painting or something. Like there was an activity overlaid with the pool time. But what Mark is going to do is probably go find the Excel spreadsheet. Yes. This is another, like, dude,
I got the schedule.
It's professional as fuck. The schedule was fantastic. Because it just like laid it out so you could like kind of like plan your day, which was super nice. And they just like had it up on the screen. Yeah.
So going through it real quick. So Friday, pregame, And then from 3 to 6:30 was arrival and check-in. Then we had dinner 6:30 to 7:30. And we had announcements and swag. And then we got the Urza's Annie sealed decks at 8:30. And went to 10. We had an evening snack. I think that was
I didn't make it to that. Yeah, I didn't make it to that. I was out. I was asleep.
And then Saturday, breakfast ended at 9, so it was 8 to 9. And then what it was either High Tide for pool, that was 9 to 12, or the pre-modern side quest, the tournament. And then we had lunch.
I didn't even play the pre-modern. I did something else. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And then what was really kind of cool, so we so of course Mark was there, right? Mark Tiden.
Yep.
Is it Tiden or Tiden?
I don't know. Somebody asked him that while I was like standing around, and he said what it was, and I promptly forgot it because it's more fun to argue about it, I guess.
So for Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 1:45, it was Arabian Grinds with Mark. So Mark was literally making like drip coffee, kind of getting a chit chat with him, and that was pretty cool. And then we had 2 to 6 main quest, pack old school, then dinner, then more old school, and then we had the meat wine tasting with Charlie.
Yes. Okay. So the main event was fine. I mean, I guess we can talk about it a little bit. Like, the main event is the main event. Neither one of us were going there to win, nor did we have any aspirations of doing so. I don't think so.
I believe I got last place. Last place.
The best part about this is that there's no official standings that I've seen, so I really don't give a shit. But I know I went 3-3, which is exactly what I would suspect I would do anyhow. So I was like, yes, fantastic. And I was playing Erhnam and Burnham, which comes as a surprise to nobody. And then, Mark, what did you play?
I played a budget version of Erhnam-Geddon, and it was 5 colors, basically using a lot of basics with land tax, and I had like birds and cities. And I kind of did it because I wanted to play a budget deck, but also have some fun with other colors. So the sideboard, like for instance, I had a mountain and like Earthquake and Blood Moon and Falling Star. So there's no red in the main deck. I was trying to catch people.
And you caught 0 peoples.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Power and him. Yeah,
I played Mike in the first round, and I was like, so I almost want to just be like, so, like, do you just want to like report this and we can like do something else? Like, I was like, just like, I was like, we know. I'm like, I know what you're playing, and you have a pretty good idea what I'm playing. So like, we can just be done, right? Like, I'll start walking downstairs. That was like, okay, so the place where we were staying was 2 levels, right? And there was like, it was like the dungeon of the basement and then the upstairs. So the table 1 through 22 was upstairs. All the rest of the tables were downstairs. So I basically spent the entire 6 rounds walking up and down the stairs, just like winning and then losing, like it was hilarious at one point. But I was like super tired of that shit. That's all I want to talk about in the main event. Did you play anything good? I
have something. Well, yeah, I had a lot of fun with all the opponents. There was a Evil Eye Ormscore deck that was really cool. That was pretty neat. I think my favorite memory of the main event was probably Stephen Hines. Shout out. He took me up on my joke of arm wrestling to see who went first. So that was a lot of fun. That he took me up.
Who won? Because nobody wanted to play me in that game.
Yeah, no. When I arm wrestled you, I was like, "Don't break my arm." That's what I told you. I won. He came out really strong, but the technique really wasn't there. So I let him kind of go full steam while I kind of
tire him out
for a while.
Tire him out.
And I tired him out, and then I got.
You pull it in. And you just,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, strong start though. Really strong start.
Yeah, here's a real side note. This is not Magic related. If you want to get into like arm wrestling is like a sport where people compete and like you can literally go do that. Just like Google Brandon Allen. He used to powerlift, but now he does like arm wrestling. There's a lot more technique to arm wrestling than you might think. Anyhow.
What is that? Yeah. No, sorry. We do have to. If we're going to talk about arm wrestling, what's that Sylvester Stallone movie about arm wrestling?
Over the Top. It's fantastic.
Over the Top.
I have it on DVD.
Just watch that. Don't watch YouTube. Just watch that. You're fine.
Yeah. You'll be fine. It literally is like that. Okay.
Well, so back to Saturday, I think we both didn't do the wine tasting. Were we cubing?
We were cubing on Saturday. The wine tasting was happening behind us because we were cubing in the
Yeah.
basement. And it most people know this about, but I don't give a fuck about alcohol. Like when we could, that's a whole other separate topic. But so people were doing a wine tasting. From what I heard from the guys who were like super into wine, is that Charlie knocked that shit out of the park. Like he had brought like 22 fucking bottles of wine, and like went through a bunch of different stuff. It was pretty interesting, is what it looked like.
He's also a pro. That's what he does, right? So
I don't know. I don't know what a lot of people do for a living. That's what like a lot of what I ask people.
He's a winemaker.
Okay, so yeah, so I guess that makes sense. I asked a few people what they did for a living. I was like, oh, what do you do? What do you do? Blah blah blah. But I did not ask Charlie that. I figured he just worked in tech, because most of the guys from there do. But
yeah, the beast. It's like it's either tech, or you're a lawyer, or you're Charlie and makes wine.
Yeah, like Mike we were talking about like talking about the software for like how he was doing the pairings, and he's like, yeah, and I made a branch, so I really need to talk to like Svanta about it because like it needs to get merged. I was like, dude, I understand the words you're saying are English, but I do not understand what you're saying. But I appreciate it. Like I know that he put in work making that software like work correctly, because it doesn't for me. But
I hate GitHub, but that's what that branch stuff was about. Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't even know anything about it. Okay.
Enough of that nerd stuff.
Nerd stuff. I didn't play.
Was it Saturday that we played Dirt Cube? Was that Saturday?
Yeah. So we did. I learned this probably listening to Amanda's podcast, but we drafted the cube that I brought, which is an old school cube, and the link to it's like wherever. But
and a bunch of the previous episodes talk about
the cards in there.
Yeah.
But we just drafted it, and then I just grabbed somebody and basically forced them to just pick who had the best deck, so that we could just initially draft another cube. Like I didn't want to play those games because like one dude drafted control, and I was like, nope. I'm like, we just saved ourselves 3 hours to figure out that you were going to go 2-1. Like,
and it was going to be a good deck too. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my new favorite way to do cube, is like just draft it, show your deck, and then bring somebody else out and be like, this wins. We move on.
It was all the playables from old school, and everybody had like a completely different deck, which was really cool. Like
definable.
Yes, like I had actual ornament burn.
Yeah.
Oh, and you had what'd you have?
I just blue black, good stuff. Like blue black, like big guys. Give me 1 second. I have the timer going off. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Just make stuff up. I don't know.
All right, I'm making stuff up. Yeah, so there's quite a few people cubing. There's a bunch of different cubes floating around. The ones that I remember the most is Eric's. It's just old school good stuff. I totally recommend it. I think it's Martin Furman's list. That was a lot of fun, and everyone really was like really happy drafting that one. The other one that was really cool, I think it was from Jeff, and it's I think it was the vintage cube, but it was with all of the old border cards and the old border art. So he built that all kind of proxy style, and that looked super cool. And actually the reason that we didn't draft a second time in Eric's deck is he kind of stole everybody. So now I remember he tried to get me to play, and Eric was very on it and knew I was way too high to be playing, and so he kind of came in and was my designated batter, whatever it is.
People were balancing. Trying to balance their chemicals, I guess, is a term somebody else uses for that. But like, yeah. So we got done drafting mine, but Jeff, like you're talking about Jeff's cube with the dude, he went. I don't know if he custom made those things, but he like went back and like alpha'd planeswalkers. Like, did you see those cards?
I've seen them on Twitter, man. They're around.
Oh, okay.
I feel like this set exists.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was like super impressed. I was like, holy fuck. Like he sat down and typed out all that. Like he basically turned like Jason Mind Sculptor from a Planeswalker into like a Jason Mindwalker Planeswalker as an alpha card. I thought this shit was insane.
Wording and simple and everything like that.
Yeah. Like I couldn't have drafted that cube because I don't know what half of those cards do, but like the flavor was there. The flavor, like old borders, everything. So that was pretty cool.
That was just a bad part of the night to do that, because I could get away playing an old school cube, but not like a vintage one, where there's combos and all kinds of other stuff, and you actually have to, be a good Magic player and read the cards and things. So I'd love to play it some other time.
Yeah, we should have done that one earlier, and then we should have reversed ordered those and drafted his first, and then drafted mine. Mine's a lot easier.
He kind of came out of nowhere. Like we were already like drafting, and then he gives us the sales pitch, right?
Yeah, drafting. I should have spent more of our time. I should have spent more of my time just drafting cubes. I think that was like a big attraction. I wish I'd spent more time doing. Probably just drafting people's cubes.
So I guess on speaking of other side quests a little bit, so we did have the Urza's Ante deck. I didn't play a lot of games besides the first 3, and the reason is because I didn't stay up because I had everybody was really tired, but whatever. I didn't stay up super late. So the first night where everyone got it, basically all the sharks stayed up till 3 a.m., jamming games and trading and stuff. And so if you didn't do that and you woke up in the morning, your deck was not playable. So,
oh man.
So I quickly pivoted to collecting strip mines, and that became my goal for the weekend was strip mines. Yeah.
And they weren't like integral to the Urza's Ante. Like they weren't a good card, in my opinion. So it was easy to collect, right?
Well, in each starter pack, everyone got like 25 mocks, and when I opened mine, I'm like, is this right?
Yeah.
No land. 25 mocks?
It was very surprising because it was like the last cards, and you're just like, oh, was this like a misprint sealed one? And it's like, no, that's what we're doing. I was like, oh, okay.
It was like a fourth of the cards you got were Moxen, right?
Yeah. And so much similar to you, like I am not that good at Magic. Like I can't like look at something and be like, oh, I need to pivot into this to play a good like I don't know how to do that stuff. Like it's not
strategy. I like white cards.
Yeah, like I was like, I'm like, oh, I'll play. I got a bunch of stings. Give me some more stings. I don't know. Like it's fucking. I ended up with like 6 stings, but like not even the foil. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I ended up giving all those cards away.
Strip mine for free, and I ended up instead. I didn't take that. I traded him an Ancestral Recall for it. And Mike was walking by, and he saw that. He was kind of shaking his head, walking away.
How many strip mines did you end up walking away with? Like 16, 17?
No, I got 11.
Did you get the foil one?
I got the foil one, okay. Yeah. So each non-mox had 1 foil, and the foil moxes there, it was plentiful. But each of the other ones, there was just 1. Jeff was saying that he thinks that there's he made 16 cards of each, and he thinks that there's probably 12 to 13 in the wild copies of each card. So the other ones that were out there, I think there was another 2 where they basically avoided me the whole weekend, and I'm not giving the strip mine kind of thing. And they wanted it for cube purposes and stuff, which was, I think that's an awesome reason. So.
Yeah. I also pivoted off of Urza's Ante. I think next year I will be a good sport and maybe try and play it more, but like again, it's just like I'm not smart enough for the game. I pivoted into collecting wooden nickels so that I could cheat like a motherfucker to win Mono Green in the Woods.
Mono Green in the Woods. First, we got to say what it is, right? So it's unsleeved, and it's what was it? 40 cards, 60 cards?
60 cards.
60 cards.
No sideboard.
And it had to be green or colorless, which became a thing.
Yes.
And it was unsleeved in the woods. Yeah.
And so here's where they messed up. They gave us all these wood chips, which I still have 5 of them.
Okay, so wooden tokens.
Sure, these wood they're like wood cheap not cheap, but like they're like wood.
They're awesome.
Poker chips, right? They're like the same size as poker chips. They're just not clay, so they're not as heavy. And so I was like, and they gave them to us early. They gave them to us like Friday, right? When they're like, oh, here's like we got fanny packs.
So everybody got
fanny packs. And the fanny packs, the fanny packs were good. I know that was smart. I should have brought a fanny pack as well. I did not. We got these sweet ass packs of the Future Stars 93. I'm not opening this. I'm gonna keep that sealed. We got these tokens.
Mine. Yeah.
You opened yours. I'm gonna keep it sealed. We're gonna use that for later.
Okay.
Fanny pack this. There was nerds and stickers in there too, right?
Yeah. The nerds pack was sweet. We also got a sweet pin for the Chalice 4.
Yes, and that pin is on my jacket upstairs. I'm not gonna go get that, but that pin is fucking sweet.
Yeah.
brings up okay, so that was all, like, they just hand that shit to you right away. Oh, and the cup. And the cup I got the cup here too. And the cup
like,
had
like the
a
typical
soul ring.
like coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the typical coffee tumbler. Yeah.
Dude, this is a higher quality than the stuff I get at work. Like, I was impressed by, like, I would, if I didn't have 100 of these already because of what I do for work, I would use this. But it's up there with my copy of Sandman that I got from Mr. Ken Fritz. And there was a soul ring in there. That soul ring is stamped, right? And that soul ring is now in my cube.
Yeah.
It replaced an unlimited one. So that was pretty cool. It was nice to have soul ring because Mark was there. So you could get that stamped soul ring signed by the dude. And then another thing I regret not doing is having everybody sign that card.
I think they all came signed though, bro.
I don't think mine signed. I think you had to ask him for it.
Oh, mine came signed. And I saw the other ones I saw.
I'll have to look.
Okay.
I just like took out my other one and put it in the cube because I thought it made sense there. So on Friday when they were like introducing all the events, they're like, hey, Mono Green in the Woods. And the person who wins Mono Green in the Woods is the person who has the most wood tokens. And what you're supposed to do is win these wood tokens by playing games in the woods. And I was like, well, I'm not good at Magic, so how do I win? And the answer is you trade away your Urza Zanny cards for these wood tokens for people who aren't going to play Mono Green. Right? So like, there's the win. And I ended up with like 75 of these fuckers by the end of the weekend. So I like crushed. Like, the real winner of that event was probably Stebo. Like, he probably won the most games, but I fucking crushed him because this was the actual winning piece.
I feel really bad for forgetting his name, but I think he was Desert Twister. The guy who showed up. Was it Joseph, the one who showed up at the workshop?
Yep, that's him. Yep.
Okay, so there was also an award for the most expensive card that you played unsleeved in the wet woods with dew everywhere on bark and stuff. And so it's supposed to be mono green or colorless. And basically everybody's running all the Force Walk creatures. That was the not so secret tech, I think, of this year with all the Force Walk people. He went one step above. Now, he said that he couldn't find revised Force. So he was using revised like mountains,
islands, plains, whatever.
Yeah, now he said he would have played Force if he had them, but he didn't. But this turned off everyone's Force Walk. It ended up being a brilliant move, even if that was not the original intent. And then he had Felwar stones and some other artifacts.
He was just playing like Book of Wrath and stuff.
Yeah. So it was a Titania Song deck. The other it's like an artifact that gives green mana. So basically, he always had green active because everybody else had Force, right? And yeah, no, he definitely did a smackdown with his creatures were just so big and cheap because the Book of Wrath was at like 4 mana, you get a 4/4, so 3 mana, 3/3, 5 mana, 5/5. So he could break some face with that one. Yeah.
I played him. His deck is good. Stebo had a good deck too. They were all playing like fungal bloom, like they were playing like a fungal bloom type deck. So they're drawing a bunch of cards and like fogging people. So that was pretty cool. Fuck, now I'm gonna miss people's names. He's also from the Arizona area, Desert Twisters. He had a fog machine in his jacket so that when he cast the card Fog, he also like sprayed fog around.
Like out of his
physical manifestation of fog.
And it wasn't like a little bit. It was like both players were encased in the smoke. Like
it was a professional fog machine, a personal professional fog machine. It's a real thing. There's a market for that. So it's people who play Magic the Gathering. So like we walked around and we played a bunch of games, and that was a lot of fun. I played on top of like a log that was like probably 6 feet. I had to like muscle up on top of it to get to play on top of it, and then like pulled 2 other dudes up, and we played a game of 3 people, which makes no sense, but it was very, very old school Magic. And I played like a mono green singleton deck, which was not very imaginative, but it was a good event. I enjoyed that one. I'll do that one again and not cheat on it. I'll like actually just play it. I think everybody learned their lesson. Like, don't give those out until the day of the event, because like there was like a market, right? There's like dudes like who were never gonna go play mono green who would like who did not value these at all. And all I had to do was just figure out who those people were. That was it.
I think I traded you my 5 for, I believe it was a strip mine.
I had a strip. Like everybody's got a price. Everybody's got a price. So that was my W. I won a tracker from that, and that tracker is also in the cube now. So there's
Nice.
multiple chalice cards in the cube.
Were you like scout leader or force leader?
Scout leader. Scout leader.
Scout leader.
That's what
nice.
it is. Yep. So that's pretty exciting. I'm gonna hold on to that card for a while. Saturday night, watch people do their patches, which was pretty interesting. And I attempted it. I made it to I did 30 in a row beforehand and was like, all right. And then like Pit Lord Edders comes over and is like, okay, dude, I think you're warmed up. I was like, yeah, probably. And I was like, okay. We already kind of talked about it, but like I don't drink a lot, so I had to bet a limit of shots, and I haven't had a shot in like, let's call it 5, maybe more years, right? So like there's a dangerous line there. It's like, could I do 5 shots? Yeah, probably. But I'd also fucking die, right? Like that would be it. Like I wouldn't be able to do anything Sunday. So I bet 2. Made it to 9. I think I did 19 flips and then like bombed out. Fine. My new challenge, I'm going to just say it out loud, is I'm going to bet 0 next time I do this and just go 50 in a row and just not fucking worry about it.
And flip from like 12 inches, not 16 or something. So
it's
Eric flipped from such a high distance, and I brought my my mat tube with the
1 foot
sticker, which apparently there was some fun controversy about online. I didn't know that I wanted to be counterfeited.
Yes.
Bucket list item scratched off. But anyway, so I had it there to try to keep Eric's flip slower, and I think it was
I didn't want there to be
mark, and he went like double. He went like 2 feet.
I didn't want there to be any question about the height at which my flips were being completed, right? Like I didn't want that to be, there should be no question. It should be a foot or more, right? Like the minimum is a foot. Anyhow,
not
that's
for
my
you.
thoughts.
15. Your minimum is 15. I was watching.
Anyhow, I will attempt it again, but I'm just gonna bet 0 and just leave it simple. 2 shots was fine. The first one hurt. The second one went down way smoother. So it was good liquor too.
Speaking of orb flips, congrats to everyone who got their patches.
Yeah.
And also you, Eric, for doing it. Me and a lot of other people were too chicken to do it. So you had 19 over 0, right? But the best part of the flipping thing was they got Mark Teaton to do it. Yes. And they taught him and they got him to do it. And I was part of the crew. I don't know, Eric, if you were, but I was downstairs. We were watching Bloodsport. And there's like 15 of us just watching Bloodsport. And then we heard, hey, Teaton's going to start flipping. So we literally paused it like 10 minutes before the end of the movie or something.
Yep.
And we all get up there. We cheer him on. Yeah. There's pictures and videos probably somewhere. He was doing quite good, actually. He was doing pretty decent. I think he got to 13 or 15 or something.
He also bet 2 shots.
Yeah.
He did them better than I did. That's for sure.
Yeah, really good sport there. That was great. Dude, the painting, man.
Okay.
Shall we bring up the painting? So we sat together.
Yes.
And then Eric, you wanna
look? Okay. The painting. So I thought it was gonna be like I was like previous to this, they're like, hey, if you want to do painting, sign like let us know so we can make sure we have room for everybody. Blah blah blah. I'm like, yes. And I assumed poorly that it would be like a paint by numbers situation where like Mark was gonna be like, all right, Eric, or like group, go ahead and take out the brown and we're gonna put brown here and here, like stuff like that, right? Or like there'd be like a sketch or something. Fuck no.
So because I went 2 years ago, and because I told you wrong based on my experience with Drew Tucker, and so we actually had like we were able to trace the outline of the clockwork.
Yeah.
We actually had nice. Like some. Yeah, and I thought for sure we were doing that with Chaos Door. And I thought that was a little hard. And then no sketch, like there was no tracing or anything. I went and got my play mat and just put it in the middle of the table so everyone had a thing. Smart. But if you don't draw very often and you don't have any sort of reference, any sort of lines already there, nothing, you're having to freehand this and then start painting. It's not easy.
And don't get me wrong, like I'm gonna be critical here. Just to like explain the situation, but like Mark is like an intrinsic painter, right? Like he was just like, and so we're gonna just like put a line here, and just some like, and like he was describing stuff like in a very non or both a very technical and non-technical way. He was like, "We're gonna do some like blah blah blah," and I was like, "I'm like, slow down. What the fuck did you just say? And what are we really drawing?" And then that was fun. Like we got through the drawing part. I think our drawing turned out fine.
Well, so
It's the
everybody
colors that
watches
got me.
Bob. So Bob Ross, everyone watches it and they think, easy, I could do that. But how many have tried to paint along with Bob Ross? And it was
At his
kind of
speed.
like that. Yeah, at his speed. But then also imagine not seeing 60% of what he does because the camera angle had a blur on it, so you couldn't see what he was doing.
Okay, so
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the sketch. I thought my sketch turned out fine. I thought my sketch turned out as good as it could be. The colors. To me, there is green, light green, dark green. He's like the fuck. What did he say? He said like crimson something. I was like, what color?
Cerulean blue.
Yeah. Cerulean. I was like, which? There was multiple blues, guys. I was like, which blue is that? Is that the dark blue or the light blue? And
also, so we had big paint paint tubes, and we took a blob on our little paper area and passed it on. So the paint tubes weren't on the table, so we couldn't check what the tube said.
Yeah,
so
he just knew what the colors were, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then he'd be like, you can mix the cool and the warm colors. Define for me, people listening to this who are still listening to this, what a cool color and a warm color are. What the fuck does that even mean? So I'm having these thoughts in my head while slightly inebriated, and then I ended up with the picture I posted on Twitter, which I'll repost here. But it was. Did you add
the Eric Martin age?
No, I gave it to Cam to transport home for me, and it's probably in the trash at his house, which is where it should stay. I will hang it up in my house whenever I get a hold of it again. If I get a hold of it again. But it was bad.
If you haven't seen it, it looked like a very angry potato.
Yeah, it was like a fucking like you're like, hey kid, draw a meatball, and you only gave him brown. And it was like that's what it looked like, like just brown.
And I was too caught up with the color mixing and stuff that I didn't even paint the orb itself. I just did all the back, like the blue and the lava, and I didn't even finish the orb. Yeah,
it was like after. So while I was failing miserable, I knew I was failing at it and just getting frustrated by it. So I was like, all right. I got up and I looked at everybody else's. Dude, other people got it, so it's just me. It's not like I'm being critical more of myself than others, or of Mark on this, but other people fucking understood. So I was like, oh, it's just me. I was like, okay, because fucking Paul De Silva's one came out good.
Paul's was sick.
Yours came out good. Flint was sitting across from me. His came out good.
Yeah.
A lot of people, nobody was as bad as me except for maybe one other person.
What's her name? Was it Win or Win?
Win, I believe. It starts. It's WYNNE.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was Win or Win.
I wasn't sure.
How about we go with Win, and we don't want to. No offense.
And we'll just apologize later.
Yeah. So Win is somebody told me that she was Teeden's partner, and she was super awesome, and her orb was amazing, professional grade. In fact, they got auctioned off for charity, and it was $1,800, I think.
I don't know. I don't know what hers was.
And Teeden's was Teeden's was 4K, 4.5.
I don't know. All I know is that the total number was 7.5 at the end of the total raise was 7.5. Sure. He also auctioned off that one playmat, the Juzen playmat, which was pretty cool. It was very
sick.
Very sick. I just don't need any more. A, I knew what that was going to go for, and then B, I don't need any more playmats. I got too many playmats.
As they brought this out, I see Eric get on the front of his chair and really trying to, those 4 inches are going to give him some better view of this playmat. Yeah. And then I see him get out of the chair to walk outside and to walk, all up front to get closer. I was like, oh, don't do it. Because that playmat went for 1,500 2K or something.
It went for 2. And if it wasn't a playmat, if it was a sketch,
yeah,
I would have asked 2. I would have gone 2-1. I just don't need a playmat. I don't own any Juzums, right? And for 2K, I could ostensibly buy one, I think. But
oh, so cool.
I have no idea how much those things are worth.
Yeah,
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It was money going to charity. I could have convinced the wife that wouldn't have been a problem, right? But it's a playmat. So there's I can't justify a playmat. I could justify a piece of art on the wall. And then Marks went for a lot, dude. The
Yeah.
Rich and Sean, who, by the way, they both live in like the Seattle area, so that like they were just like bidding on each other, which was hilarious. But they were well outside our
There's a lot
level
of
of bidding.
like WWF level of theatrics there. That was
Yes.
by Sully. That was great.
It went high. It left my realm of possibility in 2 bids, right? Like I'd say my top bid on anything is, reasonably speaking, is like around 2.5K, right? Before like Courtney would be like, "What are you doing? Like, are you being serious?"
Sure.
Right? And that the trajectory out of that area was immediate. It was like, I think the min bid was like, I think it started at like 1,000 or 1,500, right? And then just like immediately like to like 21 or 22.
There was one item that I wanted to bid on, and I was like, okay, I'll be the first bidder, and I'll bid $100.
Yeah.
The first bidder bid $500. I was like, yeah, okay, nope.
You're like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, nope.
I'm out of here. That's like, yeah. So I mean, those were cool prizes, no doubt. It's just we were not fiscally prepared to win that battle.
Now on the raffles, I actually won raffles, and I got that cool pack from the Knights of Thorn, dudes from the Netherlands.
And I won a raffle as well, which
did you?
You had the yeah, I got my scry counter, dude. That's the one thing I wanted the most.
That's right. The scry counter.
It's right here. Right. It's right here. The scry life counter.
Shit, I forgot about that.
So I mean, most people know this, but like at this event, there's a bunch of there's a raffle, a bunch of stuff. There's a scry counters. There was a revised pack. There was Knights of Thorn brought a thing. The Brothers of Fire out of England brought a pack of things.
But lots of altars. I think most were from Broussard.
Yeah, Broussard, like 3 sets, like Dustin. A set of City of Brass, a set of Disenchants.
Yeah, and I think
some Soul Rings. There's one other thing in there, but I can't remember the card name. But there's that. All that was going. Beast put in a thing. I can't remember all the other stuff that was there, but there was like a significant. There was something for everybody, is what I'll say. And then, we're going to buy tickets, and this is my favorite part, because you like value bet, right? You value bet that pot, right? You're like, Mark's like 40. I would like $40 in charity tickets.
Yep.
And then like I think Urbano was in front of you.
Just for the one drawer. I was only focusing on one item.
And I was like, I will take 200 tickets, because I wanted this fucking scry counter so fucking bad.
And then the one after you said 200, and I think the one after that said like 300. I was like, well, my 15 tickets really are gonna make a difference. Got it.
You got them. Oh, it was there. What Joe put in a original scry mat. That's where so I went 100 tickets in the scry count in the life counter, 50 in the revised pack, 50 on the mat, and those were just like, value bets, right?
Still sealed too, like
still in the packaging, like an OG one player original mat. That was pretty cool.
Well, I think it was from like 98. So
was it a 98? Like I thought it was second gen.
98, 99, it's like second gen, but still in the bag.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Like you're not gonna find that on the internets anytime soon. I'm trying to think. I want to make sure we didn't miss any cool prizes. Those were all pretty banger prizes. There wasn't like much up there that was like, oh, I don't want to put money on that. I just had to be very concerted in what I wanted to get.
Yeah, I thought everything was sick. I mean, probably at the highest level, probably was that revised pack. That's probably the top, right?
That was pretty cool. I mean, like, I was talking with Sean about this. I was like, we have because I had won a Fallen Empires pack, or not Fallen Empires, the Dark pack. A while back, and I was like talking with Sean Sullivan. I was like, these got to be searched, right? He's like, if it's a loose pack, like you have to assume. I was like, all right, I'll just I just sent it back out, like put it into an auction somewhere, and that revised, it had to have been searched, because it like the rare was like a Chaos Lacer or something like that, or Life Lace. But it was cool to watch Paul open it, and like very cool.
Yeah, Paul De Silva, and I think he pulled like 7 lands or something.
There's a lot of lands in that pack. A lot of lands. I was like, all right, cool. Trying to think of what else. What else is on your list that we missed? We're just kind of jumping around.
Yeah, I have Bloodsport. We covered that.
Bloodsport was okay, but we're not giving Bloodsport justice. First off, 20. There's a picture of it somewhere, but they're like 20 dudes. The TV is like up in the corner, like it, like if you've ever been to not if you've ever been to prison, right? The TV is in the corner, and there's just a bunch of dudes in chairs watching the TV.
Or a medical waiting room.
Or a medical waiting room. That would probably be a better where people will understand that, right? So it's just like a bunch of dudes. Like everybody stopped playing Magic for like the very end of this movie. People were just like, and like repeating lines or like being like, all right. And then he says this as he's like saying it.
Or the different screens. Like 10 different people miming that.
Yes. Yeah. When Jean-Claude gets the pocket sand in his eyes. Yeah. Very
it's amazing. Especially since like it was the dungeon, a lot was going on. So you didn't really like the volume was pretty low. So now like if you have it or you rent it, pocket sand that portion. Now watch it muted. And just see making all of these that makes zero. It is crazy. Watch that scene muted. And that's what we're reacting to.
All right, so Bloodsport was good. I was down there for that. That was a lot of fun. And then we went upstairs to watch Mark flip, and then we came back down to finish Bloodsport.
Yes.
And then that's when I Irish goodbye'd after that.
And that was also so in that same room, the wine tasting was happening.
Yes.
Jeff's Cube was being played, and then Bloodsport and all the the retro movies and stuff. So that was the dungeon, I think.
Yes, getting to meet Tappan in real life. He's exactly who I thought he was online, and like he's living the dream that you'd suspect. Like we were talking about CRT, we were talking about CRT TVs, and like I almost want to like just have this conversation with him like on the internet. He like the way he talks about CRT TVs, like he's like an expert level. He's like deep into that shit, and like he understands that market. It's very interesting to listen to. He's like, yeah, like he explains like how he gets the TVs, how much they're worth, like the idea that like the CRT, like the TVs that we grew up with, are gonna become extinct in our lifetime. Like you won't be able to find them. It'd be like typewriters or some shit.
So that Sony Trinitron, I guess the big gray one that was kind of
the hand selected TVs he brought. Yeah.
Yes. So so I helped him load it up into the car on the last day. What I really appreciated that he had stickers on everything with blue tape saying exactly like what it was, and on that he puts down the weight. So that Trinitron was 155 pounds. I know that now.
Yes. It's fucking insane.
On my side, I'm like, we're putting it in the Subaru WRX in the back seat with like the G-Wagon parked, a foot away. So you're trying to squeeze this thing in and all that.
Having flashbacks.
And then as I'm putting it in, I'm seeing this, homemade tape of specs, model, and weight. And I thought that was cool.
It was pretty cool. The setup he had down there with like VHSs, dude, his VHS collection is deep. It's deep. And he had like Super Nintendo. I think there was a Nintendo down there and Atari, some other stuff. That stuff like is interesting to me. It's not like my total thing, but a lot of dudes were playing Street Fighter 2, I believe.
Somebody showed up with a Street Fighter shirt. Was that Urbano?
Yeah.
Like the whole suit, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he had like it's from Roosevelt's. He told me the company that he orders from, or like they have a shop.
Oh, really?
It's called Roosevelt's. Right. Yep. Sunday. What did we do Sunday?
All right. There was breakfast, and then that was mono green unsleeved or swimming till lunch, and I did both. And then lunch for an hour, and then Arabian Grinds with Mark from 1 to 1:45, and then it was painting with Mark. That was 2 to 5. Now, if you didn't want to paint, there was also a Type 1.5. I think it was like 3 rounds or something like that.
Yeah.
Then we had dinner, and then we had like a 15-minute break to basically refill all of the the cups and beverages or whatever. And then there was the award ceremony and raffle from 6:45 to 8. And then there was from 9 to 10 there was that anti-40K rodeo, the 40 Kronar one, and we were watching that for a while.
Yes.
And then evening snack. But
anti-40K is deceiving, right? Like it looks like so much fun, and it is. And you're like basically just swapping birds, right? I watched like maybe 3 games, and I was lucky enough to have like Danny basically just commentate on games for me, which was super nice. Because he would just like
Yeah.
he understands the game at a level that I don't, so it's like just nice to listen to him talk about it, right? Like, so you
And
can,
Danny is Danny Friedman.
yeah, Danny Friedman. So it's nice, like he was playing like a tax edge deck, and I was like, hey, why, and like, and this happened 20 minutes ago. I was like, hey, why did you, when you demonic tutored, why did you go get X card instead of Y? He like literally laid out like 3 different lines, and he's like, and this was the best line. And that happened 20 plus minutes ago, and he was already commentating another game for me. I was like, okay, all right. He just understands the game on a different level than I do. Annie K looks like a lot of fun. I kind of want to build an Annie 40K deck now. I might do that.
I kind of want to look through the rules for the Twisters Peso one.
Yeah, the Peso one's good. Here's how Danny sold it to me. He's like, you buy one expensive card, and then you play the rest as like you basically put like all your money in 1 or 2 cards because your likelihood of losing them is slim, right? And you're gonna play
Okay.
4 birds, and birds are like $35 a piece. So he's like, you build a Swedish legal deck, you have 2 expensive cards in it, and so
Okay,
he's like,
wait.
your likelihood of losing cards is low.
So you said minimum is $30. So is it also Swedish reprint?
No. It's like you got to play Swedish decks, right? Like
Okay.
Swedish legal decks. So everything's unlimited or what have
Ah,
you, right?
that's why the birds are $30, not 30 cents. Gotcha.
Yeah. The birds are like 35, like because those birds went up in price, right? Like when we first started playing Annie Leagues online, you could get an OG bird for like $2 because nobody give a
Yeah.
fuck. And now they're expensive as shit, and the Chronicles ones are like a couple bucks now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Chronicle ones are like $2 or $3 because I'm gonna
Oh,
run another Annie League after Winter Derby, so started putting cards together for that. So Annie 40K, it's like you could almost, if you could get enough people, you could almost make that its own weekend, right? Where you just like that's the event, like that's what you do.
all right.
Or
All right. Let me ask you something.
sure,
What would you want to do, guys' weekend, right? Would you want to do anti 40K or would you want to do old school cube?
I think like if I had the money, let's say like not unlimited money, but like a reasonable amount of money, I would do
Yeah.
any 40K main event, 6 rounds, right? Maybe 4 rounds, but 6 rounds. Because you got to like you'd have to like have enough birds, right? So I'd allow a sideboard with extra side birds in it. Because if you play 6 rounds, you could lose 4 birds, right? And maybe you gain 2 birds back. But let's say you can have 6 birds total, so you can have 2 on the side just in case. I do that main and then cube the rest of the weekend.
I think for me, when it comes to like the between the two, I think I would just rather cube every time. I don't see the super appeal. It's almost like if the format is the way that it is. So basically, what it is, you're kind of autographing and you're memeing up some birds to ship on. And I'm kind of thinking, well, why don't you just kind of skip the middleman? Everyone shows up with 4 or 5, Chronicles birds, draws on them, and just just have them pass back and forth that way.
Because there's the probability that you lose not a bird. Because there's
Sure.
skin in the game. Because there's skin in the, like it's not like if you ran a anti 40K tournament, people are not going to show up with their beta workshops deck. They're not going to do that because that'd be fucking
Yeah, sure.
lunacy. They're going to play something else. So like there's a forcing mechanism in there to not play quote unquote the best deck. Quote, I mean like define that, but like that's
Sure.
ultimately
Yeah.
I think there's something there, right? So I'm giving that some consideration. Like I'm already gonna build a Swedish legal deck. The real question is why not just make it that deck this also an anti 40K deck?
Okay, so you talking about playing a Swedish, the Swedish reprint legal format. That makes me think of something I want to do for a while. I want to make a new sticker for all of those poor folks that have to play one strip mine for that particular format, and it's gonna feature all 4 arts, and so that way you could slap it over your 4th edition strip mine, or since it's going to cover the whole thing, a force, nobody knows or whatever. And that way, when you're playing your one strip, well, do it on an actual strip mine.
Yeah,
I
just
don't
do it
know
on a regular
everybody's rules. Yeah. And then that way, when you're playing your four strip mine, your one strip mine, you still be playing your four. So
it's actually a really good idea. Like, so that when I play like a one strip format, I can
yeah,
have the art of all four on my one strip.
yeah.
I would absolutely be in for that sticker. That's a good idea.
Cool.
It's a really good idea.
Well,
What
give me
else
a
did we
couple of
miss?
weeks. Yeah,
Who
yeah, we'll make
who
it.
was a new person that you met that you like? Who's your new favorite person?
Um,
You can only pick
that,
one.
that,
You can only pick
that
one
I haven't that I haven't met before,
that
right?
you met at this weekend.
Oh, just met for the first time here.
Yep.
Oh man,
You can only pick one.
I'm gonna go with Flint. I think I thought he was pretty awesome.
Flint was pretty cool dude. I actually did ask
Yeah,
what he
that was
does
a
for a
good
living,
dude.
which I thought was cool. He's going to
Yeah,
be in the area next week, so I actually get to hang out with him again. So that's going to be cool.
dope.
Um,
And you?
mine, I'm gonna fucking I forget his name already. Deep Spawners. He
Which one? Is it
the
Pepin? Chris Pepin?
yes, Chris
Marine
Pepin.
Corps?
Thank you.
Okay.
Probably my new favorite person from that weekend. It's a tough list. Like we've like danced around each other, right? Like we know a bunch of the same people, but we had never met in person. That'd be my pick. Uh, thing, which thing did you not do that you wish you had done? Was there anything you wish you had done that you did not do? That's a better way of phrasing that question.
Say it again. Okay, wait. What's the right way?
Did you? Yeah. Did you? Fuck. I should have written this down. Is there anything
So
that you wish you had done that you didn't do? Like, was there an
okay.
activity that you missed?
Yeah, I think it was. Well, definitely Saved by the Bell money draft.
Fuck.
But I
Yeah.
think the right. Yeah. The Desert Storm one didn't fire, so I didn't miss it. I guess. I think it's a Saved by the Bell money draft.
You're right. I was like trying to decide like, oh, what is my like what was the thing I missed the most? And it was probably the money draft, the Saved by the Bell money draft.
Okay, so if you're wondering what the F we're talking about, so money draft, so your seat, you got to pay something. I think it was $20 for the Saved by the Bell one. And so they drafted Saved by the Bell collectible cards. It's not a game, so it's just the trading cards.
Yeah, there's
so
no actual game.
So what they did is they basically drafted, and then everyone had to create a story based around it, and basically the best story won. And I think the winner, I also forget his name, from Vegas, not Megso. Super cool dude. He made those patches.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, what's his name? Jay. It starts with a J. I want to say James.
Okay, yeah, super cool dude.
He was also like recording the entire weekend. So there'll probably be like a video. I don't know. Feels like evidence to be used later against me in court. So I'm worried about that. But oh well.
So the money draft. So I think it was him, and he had a story something about the two characters, boy and a girl, they got together, but then like the mom came in and then they hit the mom with a baseball bat, and then he fell down some stairs. And now he's in a wheelchair. So they just had, yeah. I would have loved to see those arguments.
Yep. That is the thing that I wish I had done was stayed up for the money draft. In general, I wish I had stayed up more. Like I can get away with 4 hours of sleep. Not right now, but like in general, I could. I should have done that. That's my regret from the weekend. But what was your favorite event from the weekend?
Oh man, favorite
One
event.
thing, one event. You can only pick one.
Then I'll go painting. I think I usually pick the painting one.
You definitely enjoy the painting. I agree. You were into that shit.
Yeah,
I think I enjoyed the mono green in the woods the most.
yeah, I can see that.
It was a good event. It was very
Yeah, that's
casual.
cool.
A lot of fun was had.
Yeah.
There's also a bunch of banana slugs. I've never seen those before, so that was kind of cool.
There's a lot of talk about banana slugs.
Yeah, they were just like everywhere. I didn't think they were real, and then I saw a real one, so then I knew it was. All right. What else did I miss off this list?
Well, that was actually my list, but so I have the little flyer thing still, right?
Yes.
And there was one thing here that I absolutely loved. Just loved. This is the only event that I've ever seen anyone do this. Huge fan of this. Deck photos are required if you end up X1 or better. If you would like to be considered for a Spice Award, email this email address. So if you know you're not top 8ing, and maybe it's not spicy or something, you don't have to. Now, I kind of like it. I mean, when you're new, it's nice to see all these deck photos of different archetypes. But I was about to do the photo, and I was like, yes, I don't have to.
Yeah. Okay. So like the technical parts of that, I like that they used a board to like scroll all the like where people were sitting and stuff like that. Super nice.
Yeah.
I like that they didn't require deck photos unless you went X1.
Yeah.
I also like that they have not there, and I don't think they are based on some conversations I saw. They have not published like they're like we know who won, right? We know Quinn won, no surprise.
Yeah.
But like I know the top 8 deck list, but they're not even out there. It's the best part. Like they're just like, you don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean, I know, but like if you weren't there, you didn't fucking know who's like you didn't see the games. So I like that part of it. That makes a lot of sense. I think if I were to run an event, I would do it the same way. It saves a whole lot of time and effort.
Yes, it does, because taking deck photos can be a pain in the ass. Now, getting them in and editing them and commenting on them, and then that's also a pain in the ass. So that's no, full agreement there.
Do you remember any of the spice decks from this? I don't remember any of them.
I don't, because that was during the award ceremony, and that night in general was I don't.
Everybody was off balance.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I don't remember any of them either. I was gonna say we could probably talk through a couple of them, but I don't remember. I didn't play anything super spicy.
There's one deck that that popped out. It was like a marriage between Shops and the deck.
Huh.
So that was the only one that I remember. As far as like on the screen, the full deck list or something. Basically, it was Shops with JMD tomes in white. That's what it was.
Okay. All right.
Kind of cool. Yeah.
All right. Did we miss anything?
Probably.
Probably.
But if anyone has any questions about the event or something that we did miss that you've heard about, you want to get more details or something, just hit us up on Twitter when Eric's going to post this here. Just post the questions. If there are questions, then we can just do a follow up on it, or we can grab some other attendees to give their stories. That's a good cool event. Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, Eric, we'd like to be on the podcast." Dude, all you have to fucking do is like literally message me, and we can just do it. I work 3 days a week.
It could be like a reply. It doesn't even have to be a DM, and it could be this old deck or Eric's account or my account, Mark. Super cash, man.
You just have to say, I would like to talk about something, and then put the something that like whatever. It could be the deck you enjoy playing, a deck you hate. It just has to be tacitly old school related.
And it doesn't have to be by yourself. If you want one of us to join, we're happy to. If it's just you and a couple of club mates or whatever. Yeah. No worries. You want to have. I'm sorry.
All I gotta do is submit some audio. It doesn't even have to be good audio. I can figure it out. But anyhow, all right.
I think that's about it.
That's it. Right? We did it. My flight home was easy. That was it. I got in and got out. I didn't have any. It's the best part about being on the West Coast. 1.5-hour flight. No issues.
Nice. Yeah, mine was easy too. A day later, but no problems.
Yeah. That's not podcast talk. All right. All right. And you're okay. Well, let's just cut it here. Let's just do an Irish goodbye and just hit stop.
All right. I am going for the stop and stopping.